What's going on, guys? Tim here. Wait, everybody says what's going on, guys. Anyway, hey, aloha, my friends. I'm so pumped that you're here. I'm actually recording this video because I wanted to share with you something that has gotten me like super excited. And to be 100% honest, there's not much in the photography world these days that really kind of gets like the insides of me like all like churning and burning and super excited about it. There has been just, I would say that we've reached like peak camera. That's part of the reason why I review film cameras. There are a lot of things that we have gotten over the last few years, like how much, like just gear just in general, like how much sharper can a lens get? I mean, do you even want that? I mean, I don't know. But one of the things that like I have been able to really manage well is actually not even the gear, it's the post experience of photographing something. A wedding, a session, a political session, a headshot, a personal project. You know, I have my hands on a lot of different things. I photograph a lot of different things, and the one thing that is a bottleneck for me, shall I say, is the actual culling process. Now, although I do have it navigated down and have it like to a process, I'm always looking for something that will help me speed up my workflow so that way I can get my images to my clients faster. Here is where I'm excited. This new program that has come out, it's artificial intelligence culling. It's a program called Aftershoot, and I am just pumped about it. And there's a variety of reasons. One, I don't necessarily enjoy sitting in front of the computer. I mean, I will do it because I have to, but I don't necessarily enjoy it. But it is one of those things that I would much rather do something else. And Aftershoot solves a few different issues for me. One, it helps me spend more time with my family. Look, I know you probably know that if you've watched this channel before, that I have 3 amazing little boys who are super active in sports, particularly baseball. I love baseball. I'm actually their little league baseball coach, and I want to do that and be able to do that and do my job as a creative and as a photographer. And one of the ways I can do that is having a tool that will help save me time, and that is exactly what Aftershoot does. One of the other things that I love to do as a photographer, listen, I love to do same night slideshows when I come home from a wedding. Now, I don't shoot a ton. I probably come home from a 8-hour wedding with roughly about 2,000 images. But if I can get that culled down for a same night slideshow quicker for my clients, then I'm game. This does it for me. It's absolutely amazing. It fits that role and claims that role extremely well. I can go pour myself a glass of bourbon and go and walk off and go do something, high five, download with my wife, sit and watch Manifest with her. Whatever we're doing at that time, I get to do that, and I don't have to sit in front of my computer. One of the other things, it helps me get my clients their photos quickly. Look, if I can cull, walk away, go do something else, go shoot, go coach a little league game, come home, and my photos are all culled for me without me actually having to be there to cull it, even better. And that's why I'm super excited about Aftershoot. But this is just me rambling. I want to show you how it works. It's an amazing tool, but let's go ahead and jump into it.
346 minutes later.
All right, guys, I'm back. Hey, if you're anything like me and have photographed a lot of weddings and a lot of events and a lot of things, that the culling process has been one of the few things that can really kind of bog a photographer down, especially when you have had multiple shoots in a row. For years, I've been using Photo Mechanic. This is just photographs of my kids. These are film scans. And as a hybrid photographer who shoots a lot of digital and film, I have the tendency to kind of go back and forth between the two mediums, but one of the things that I've always have struggled with is culling. And I don't want to say struggle in the terms of like can't do it. I mean, talking about in terms of, you know, like everyone else, like multiple shoots in a row, and sometimes you just kind of have to get through that process. And that's kind of where this app, artificial intelligence Aftershoot, comes into play. Now look, I was a little unsure, if I'm being fair, about this app to begin with, and then I had it do just a couple of sessions for me. You know, as you can see, this was a wedding I photographed. This has almost 3,000 images in it. That's for a full day. These are portrait shoots for my personal project called the 50 Project, which is my book that is getting ready to come out. And from there, I realized that this could possibly work, especially for like me, someone who does a lot of same day slideshows. For weddings, I do same night slideshows. This is really where I kind of feel that Aftershoot like shines. And what I mean by that is that like you can dump a bunch of photographs in it, hit cull, go grab a cocktail or a drink or whatever else you're doing, and just kind of get started. So, and the thing that I love, you know, one of the things I love the most about Aftershoot is how everything is kind of organized. And now these aren't great thumbnails by any means of the imagination, but at least I know what the session is. You know, when I end a day's shoot, one of the things that I like really enjoy doing is, well, I don't enjoy doing it, but I organize myself. So I put the year, the month, the date, the type of shoot. As you can kind of see here, this is a portrait session, the client or couple. And 9 times out of 10, I also like to put where the shoot happened, because, you know, I photograph a lot of sessions. I just sometimes forget exactly where I was. But this is kind of how Aftershoot works. Let me go ahead and just close a couple windows here. So with Aftershoot, what you do is we're going to kind of run through this so I can kind of show you guys how excited I am about this particular program. You just do like this. You click your new album, and then you can just add a folder here for this album. So let me go back here. We're going to drop this shoot here into it, and then you hit this like import photos buttons, and very much like Photo Mechanic and a lot of other like, or Lightroom, what it does is it builds previews very quickly through the session, so that way you can start culling. And as you can see, you've got the importing progress up here, and it says 7 seconds. It's 39% done. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer as it's kind of figuring it out. And the thing that I love most about Aftershoot is that the more you use it, the more it learns what types of images you like, what types of sessions that you're shooting. It does it, and it does it extremely well. So we're going to let this kind of finish importing. And as you can kind of see, I can just kind of go through here because it's already built the previews for me, and I can just kind of start culling or just kind of start going through the images if I wanted to. But that's kind of not where I'm at yet. I don't want to start culling, but I just kind of want to like just kind of scroll down and look at the images so I can just get a general idea of what this app is going to do. So as it's kind of going through these images and importing these images, I just like to scroll down, look at them, so that way I have a general idea of how it's going to work for me. So now that these images are almost done importing, it's 93% done. Oh wow, now it's done. So you can just come down here, you hit start culling, but as you can kind of see, you have like your quick filters here, and this will come up in another way as well. So when you hit start culling, you can figure out how this is going to operate before you even really get started. So you can see your culling blurred photos. You can go from lenient to moderate to strict if you want no blurred photos. I'm kind of moderate because I don't think necessarily a blurred photo is a bad photo. You can also do grouping duplicates if that's something that you want. Selections and duplicate set, you can set that for more, moderate, or less. Volume of sneak previews. And sneak previews is kind of what I use for my slideshows. So you can put like 5%, 10%, 15%, and it gives you a little bit of what each selection will do. So like the moderate will select 20% of photos. Very similar on the grouping duplicates. Will give you a good mix between the duplicate, I cannot speak today, duplicate, grouping, accuracy, and results. So then all we do is we just kind of hit this start culling. You can go grab a drink. You can go talk to your spouse. You can get on Facebook or waste a little bit of time if you want to. There's a lot of things that you can do in this time, but this is like the exact amount of time that you would probably, not exact amount of time, but this is like the time where you would be kind of like culling through your photographs and stuff like this. And it moves pretty quickly. And again, the more you use it, the more sessions you use it, the faster it gets for you. At least that's from my personal experience. But I can tell you this much, it has saved me a ton of time. Now, if you are interested in Aftershoot, I will definitely drop a link to where you could save a little bit of time. But I kind of wanted to give you kind of an overview of a session and what it looks like and how this thing culls, so that way we can kind of see it together, because it is a new tool. And I know some people like me who have control issues over their files can be a little not willing to let somebody else do something for you. Like, I don't send out my photos to an editor or anything like that. I prefer to edit all of my own photos so it looks exactly how I want to look. And I know everyone is different, but that's just not me. Now, in this culling process, you can see the magical unicorns are working in the background. It's kind of figuring everything out with what images to select. And then in a very short time period, you will get your images. Short-ish, so if you're shooting like a 3,000 or 4,000 image wedding, it could take some time to kind of cull through those images depending upon the settings that you set. Sometimes it can go pretty quickly if you have extremely strict settings. But I have realized that the faster, as you can see here, it's already starting the process of selecting some of the images here. And it's kind of like working through. It says 1 minute 36 seconds or something like that. But I know that one of the things as a creative or as a photographer, I don't like other people working on my stuff. And I know that sounds weird, and maybe not weird to you, but I know a lot of people have like given up that control. I've yet to get there. I want to edit my own images so that way they look exactly the way that I want them to look. Now, I will say this. With these blurred images or images that may be blurred, sometimes I like to kind of go through that and look at those just to make sure there's not an image that I love. Sometimes I take my black and white images and with the blurry ones and I convert them into like black and white images. But it is something that I feel is not always like something that I just would like to not use. But here it is. We're about 5 seconds finished, almost 1 second. And they're generating their previews and stuff like this. Listen, and we're done. All right, so we're looking at the images that it's selected for me. And as you can kind of see here, it's done a pretty decent job. And again, if you look here, it says +1. There is an image that is somewhat like that because they're duplicating the ones that are similar. But, I'm pretty pleased with the images that were actually selected. Now, I'm not going to keep all of these images because I don't deliver a super ton, but you could say it's selected 69 images. The sneak previews, let's go ahead and look at those. These are the ones that it decided were the sneak previews, and you know, hey, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. I definitely love this frame here. This is going to show me where my duplicates are. These are my duplicate images that are somewhat similar, and sometimes I like to go through here and look at the ones that it's selected. Let's go back and see if we can find this range. Okay, so it's selected probably the best of the 3. I definitely kind of like that. But sometimes I like to just go through the duplicates to make sure there's nothing like super special there. Like, I like this image and I like that image. I may deliver those too. And then it kind of goes through and it shows you your closed eyes images. You know, hey, those are all not great images. So, okay, cool. You know, warnings. You know, it's giving me like just a little bit of everything here. I mean, listen, you can't be upset with this. And then it also has like, it tells you the time that it took to actually cull this gallery, which is 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And it can cull it again if you want a tighter cull. And it says that it will take approximately 2 minutes. But kind of what I like to do is I actually like to take my filters here, and then I can go and you can export it directly into Lightroom Classic. You can export it directly into Lightroom or into Capture One. But I like to choose where to export my photos before I go directly into Lightroom because I have a catalog. I want to keep that catalog in sync, although you can also do that as well. So I'm just going to pick where I want this to go. And you just click that. So I'm going to go back to the folder because, like me, I like to keep all of my stuff somewhat synced with each other. Like, I don't want to have my images everywhere. I like to keep everything in one folder so I know exactly where everything is at all times. So what you can do this is you can choose by folders. You can just choose the ones that are selected in the sneak previews. But you know, again, I like to keep all of my stuff. Now, I'm not going to import all of these into Lightroom, but I'm going to just copy these photos back into that folder just so I know exactly what is going on in my folders. And the great part about it is they label your folders exactly how you would want them. So look, boom, as you can see, let me make this bigger here. So these are my raw files. These are the blurred, closed eyes, duplicate, selected, and sneak previews. So I know when I get ready to import these into Lightroom, I'm only going to select the selected and the sneak previews, but sometimes I like to go back and look at the duplicate, closed eyes, and blurred eyes. So maybe I just want to keep those in its own separate folder and don't necessarily want to get rid of those. But this is pretty much how Aftershoot works. And as you can see, we went from the time I recorded this video, it took about 12 minutes total to go through everything and to export, which is like absolutely insane to do. So if you're thinking about using Aftershoot, I cannot highly recommend it any stronger than what I'm doing now. But that's really it for this video, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video and want to see more stuff like this, make sure you smash that subscribe button below, and I cannot wait to share more with you. Peace.